Is this thing working? It looks like we're live. We are live. What is happening, everybody? Hope everybody's having a fantastic, whatever day you're watching this. Soon to be a new year, guys. 2025 is right around the corner. And I got to ask the question, with so much chat about not having a V8 and the new Ram not having a V8 for a full year, can Dodge and Ram, the brands, can they live without a V8? I guess this is the big question that I think a lot of Mopar fans are asking themselves right now. Is there any way that they would buy any of these new offerings from Dodge without a V8? Now, I'm not talking about the Durango, all right? We're not talking about a family truckster here. We're talking about vehicles that are a bit more image based. I mean, nothing could be more imaged in terms of a tough look than a truck. And well, it's a little bit difficult to say Ram tough with a wheezing 6-cylinder in the background. When it comes to cars, well, the Challenger and the Charger take the cake. I mean, nothing is tougher and spells butch any broader than a Hemi V8 screaming in the background, maybe even with a supercharger, wailing away as these things are leaving tire smoke and black treads everywhere they go. But that ain't how it's going to be. And for so many Mopar loyalists, if it doesn't have a V8, they are not interested in it, not even in the least. Guys, I have been talking about the Hurricane 6 Charger and the Ram 1500 for a long time. I've talked it up. I've said, look, this engine is lighter, makes more power. It's going to be a new power plant that, if you get behind it and you understand, is going to potentially be a pretty decent successor to the Hemi in terms of, a successor, in terms of an engine that you can say, yeah, it makes more power, whether it's standard output or high output. And look, let's be fair. People talk about tunability of either one. Well, you can put a blower on a 6.4 or a 5.7. None of y'all doing that. Ain't nobody watching this video gonna do that. Because if you did do that, you really should have bought a Hellcat, which brings me to the next step of this. Even if there were to be Hellcat variants of the new Charger or the new Ram 1500, aside from the TRX, right? If there were some type of a Hellcat variant, the price of it would put it into a place where you almost can't even say that you have an opinion of the car, because you'll never be in a position to own it. And I mean, I guess you can say, think about it, but you'd never be able to give a firsthand impression of the thing, I guess, is really where I'm going with that. The number is just too big. The void is just too vast to cross for most people. When I say most, I don't mean like 52%. Guys, we're talking about cars that are going to be so overwhelmingly expensive that 95% of the walking population in the markets where they're offered will be incapable of buying them. So anyway, let's pretend, like, just for a second, that, well, we had V8s for these cars. I want you to just kind of understand some things and put a few things into perspective straight away. If the Charger had a V8, they would be able to at least capture pre-existing technology. I'm not really going to fit into all this EPA stuff. Just the woulda, coulda, shoulda, ifs, ands, or buts, right? So if the Charger, in whatever form it takes, 4-door or 2-door, had a V8, you would at least be able to capture a lot of Dodge loyalists that will say, I won't buy a Dodge unless it's got a V8. I don't like the idea of an inline 6. Reliability is a problem, whatever reasons that you have. At least you would be able to have those customers, again, buying existing technology and a new platform. You'd have that revenue. As it stands, I don't think that's going to be the case. There aren't very many people that are Scat Pack owners, for example, today, that bought their Scat Pack at, say, $45,000 or $50,000. that are going to be very eager to go to a dealership and trade that Scat Pack in on a 420 horsepower Charger 2-door or 4-door for that matter, that's going to cost $62,000 to $64,000. And here's the funny thing. It doesn't matter that it's all-wheel drive. It doesn't matter that it's a bigger car. It doesn't matter. None of these things matter because it doesn't have a V8. Everything else that is a positive for that vehicle is a non-starter for most of the people that would be buying the car to begin with. Without a V8, it ain't really a Mopar. Oh, and I'm just saying that, right? No. I've actually gone in and looked at sales figures for Ram. If you want to know a bit of a barometer, if you will, for how well this Charger is going to sell, and I'm not even going to talk about the EV, just forget about it. Mopar fan ain't going to buy it. If we're talking just about the new Charger, 2-door and 4-door, a good barometer for how well that vehicle is going to sell is to take a look at Ram. Ram has had only the Hurricane Inline 6 now for a full year. How well is it done in 2024? Through Q3, Ram sales are down 25%. Boys, they can't afford to be down that far. This is in an automotive market where the general trend is for everything to be flat. Okay, so year over year, automotive sales are statistically flat. Ram trucks are down 25%. Ford F-150 is up. Chevrolet Silverado is up. GMC is up. In essence, your other domestic providers of pickup truckness are up in sales by not 25% combined, but they are up in general, and they're up while Ram is way down. That tells me, and it tells a lot of folks, that acceptance of the Hurricane 6 is not happening. This flower has yet to blossom, as they'll say in marketing. The boardroom will try to candy coat this in every possible way. But the reality is this: Mopar fan, love him or hate him, is only going to accept things that are purely Mopar. That is V8, loud pipes, rock and roll music, tire smoke, titties, and everything else that has to do with the great American red, white, and blue experience. Without that anchor of a V8, and I mean that in every way you can take it, without the anchor of a V8, there is no Charger. There is no upward sales for Ram. If this continues, and just keep this in mind, I understand that Tim Kuniskis has made it back into the fold, but without a V8 in the Ram pickup truck line, the Ram brand, which is arguably, I would say, number 2 in terms of profitability, in terms of brand value, for Stellantis or for the Jeep, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, all that conglomerate thing, it's number 2 in terms of value. And it is hemorrhaging value as we speak. Being down 25% in a flat market ain't good. I'm pretty sure you figured that out by now. And it is going to be even worse coming into 2025. And the reason why it will be worse coming into 2025 is that Ford still proudly offers the Coyote V8. You can get a regular cab short bed, 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive with that Coyote V8. It is a hot rod. That truck is a cheat code for having fun. Basically, an exhaust and a tune, a set of rims, and you've got a 12-second little hot rod that ain't going to break the bank, number 1, and number 2, will be cheap to insure. It really is that good, and if I'm being completely honest, I would probably pick that over a Mustang, but I'm a truck guy at heart. You've got Chevrolet still doing Chevrolet stuff. You got the 5.3 liter, and unfortunately, it is detuned like crazy, but at least it exists. Plus, you've got the 6.2 liter, albeit in a unfortunate position where you have to spend a ton of money to get it. But that being said, you also have to spend a ton of money to get the HO variant of the inline 6. Think about that for a minute. That's pretty brutal. So you've got your two manufacturers that are offering up V8s for those that want them. Ram coming in, dictating the pace, at least thinking that they will, of this race, only to find out that they are being left so far behind in sales for the year of 2024 that if they don't switch gears here pretty soon, figure out a way to put a V8 in that daggum truck, and I mean like yesterday, then they're going to be carrying a 25% loss in sales into 2025 with a market that wants nothing to do with the brand as it sits. Help me to understand that. Conditioner of air is simply not working. Hard Rock, thank you very much. Saying, loving the Two Wheel Tuesday show. Thank you very much, man. I'm having a ball with Two Wheel Tuesdays. Are you going to make new 3XTs with the new logo, supporting the new phase of content for the channel? I'm working on the logo now. Yes. It's just going to be the number 2WT. And I'm trying to figure out how that's going to look. And it's just going to say Two Wheel Tuesdays. And I'm trying to figure out what to put together and how to make that all work. Been playing around with different logos, and if you've noticed, I've been kind of goofing off with some of the little thumbnails for the channel in general. And right now it's a silver and black checkered flag, and it just says B Mason under it. So anyway, I'm working on that. Yes, I appreciate you bringing that up, and I'm hoping to have some t-shirts made here pretty soon coming into next year. Probably by the end of I would say by the end of maybe January, be looking for those. And it's still going to be in these types of tees where it's the softer, what is it called? The canvas tees. So, but I'll let you guys know how that'll work out, I guess, once it goes. And then once I do, it'll just be, send me the email. And the email is bmasontv@gmail.com. There, I'll put that up there. bmasontv at, where's it at? There you go. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, Hard Rock. I do appreciate that, brother. But got to remember, guys, so getting back to the V8 thing, guys, use the truck as a barometer. The Charger without V8, and listen, it doesn't matter. The Charger without a V8, it doesn't matter if it's all-wheel drive. It doesn't matter that it's faster. Guys, Mopar guy has been completely disinterested in outright performance, at least in terms of like roll racing or something like that. That is not that car's forte. It never was, and it never will be. You have to remember that the outgoing platform, the LX platform, was built on the W211 Mercedes-Benz platform. It's got W212, which is S-Class suspension components. It's a large sedan, guys. Anybody that mistakes one of the LX Mopars for a sports car, I don't know where you're coming from. Its roots are derived in a car that was designed to carry 4 people at 150 miles an hour indefinitely, comfortably. I mean, that's what the thing was meant for. I know this because I used to own one. I had a W211 E63 AMG. So yeah, I get it. I'm part of the family before there was a family for Mopar, for crying out loud. And I was hot riding that. One of the earliest videos on my channel is that car on a dyno. So go figure. But if the trucks are any indication, the Charger is not going to do so hot because Mopar guy wants V8, beer, titties, rock and roll music, tire smoke, big car, loud, tire smoke, rock and roll, titties, beer, America, puppies, sundresses, mud, four-wheelers, motorcycles, hamburgers, and tater tots. That's Mopar guy. Okay? Stop trying to feed Mopar guy something cute and frilly. You're never going to get there, right? And here's the other side of it. When you start to act like this is not going to be a problem, like this new Hurricane 6, because it makes so much more power and it's potentially all-wheel drive and everything else, you're absolutely forgetting. You're looking over a problem, and you're looking over a significant problem with the Ram, and putting your hopes and prayers into the car that if you looked right in front of your face, you could see exactly where this is going. The Ram ain't going well at all. Being down 25% means that if you carry that kind of loss coming into 2025, anything that is done that makes having a V8 easier by current administration, you're in the weeds. You're getting left behind. It's like you hitched your horse to the wrong cart, baby. If you just stood on principle and stood on business when it comes to your core group of buyers, we wouldn't be having this problem. But the fact of the matter is that Hemi Ram owners are not trading their trucks in on the Hurricane 6 trucks. They're kind of refusing it. And these are guys that would typically turn a vehicle every 2 to 4 years. That's the guy you've got to capture with this, and they aren't buying it, figuratively and literally. Not a good thing. Let me catch up with you guys real quickly. Lime is in, saying, how's it going, Professor B and everybody else? What's up, Lime? Hard Rock is, of course, in. Thank you again for the super chat, my brother. Southern Indiana, good evening, everybody. Hard Rock saying, I'm good with my bone stock 392, reliable, great power, and comfortable. Absolutely it is. There's times where I miss mine. Hard Rock saying, seems like we have more fun with street bike shows. True that. I'm having a lot of fun doing the motorcycle content. Hard Rock saying, we'll never trade my Chally Scat for an H6 or EV. No, most people won't, bro. X is saying the Charger was always a car that had a trim that was attainable at all price points. Thank you, brother. Exactly. That new base trim, and he puts it in quotes like exactly, is 420 horsepower car. There's no way a budget-friendly buyer can even consider a Charger at all. Not even close. You're exactly right. I mean, this car falls so far out of the price point and the reality of life for most people. When it comes to dollars and cents, they're just not going to be able to afford it. X is saying it's like the new Chargers competing with the 911s. The cheapest version is way too expensive. So is the entry Dodge option, the only freaking Hornet. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Unless you want a Durango, like a stripped down Durango. But that's it. That's all we're really going to have to play with. And again, thank you, Hard Rock. I appreciate it. See, Ryan is in saying, we need a true fast Warlock. Yeah, we do. Why the hell can I, even if it, look, I understand that there's not a, I understand that Dodge doesn't have a regular cab short bed. I had a quad cab 6.5 foot bed truck. Why in the hell, which would be the lightest of the DT Rams, why can't they just put this 4 in that truck? Call it a Warlock, give it 392 or 355 gears, send it out into the world and have a fun little hot rod pickup truck. You want to talk about satisfied, making a whole lot of people happy. I'll even go on record as saying this. You put together a quad cab with a 6.4 4-wheel drive truck. I would absolutely consider that truck over my F-150. Just saying. Okay. 470, detune it, put the truck tune in it so that you're not running into knock thresholds the way that you would just because of weight. That's the main thing. So detune it just slightly to deal with the weight, put 392s in it, give it 475 horsepower and send it out into the world. Hard Rock, thank you again, saying I can't afford 2 muscle cars, but I can do my scat and a GSXR. Yes, you can, sir. Yes, you can. I'll tell you what, not for me to start giving my bike a tongue bath, but I am falling more and more. And every time I ride the GSXR 1000, I fall even more in love with it. And here's the thing. I am legitimately, if you put me on a track and you give me about 3 sessions on a track, give me a full day to get acclimated to it. The next time I hit that track, I will probably be in A group. I will probably be in the bottom. I'd be somewhere, maybe not quite half, but the bottom, say 30% in A group. For sure. If you put me in B group, I'm in the top 10% in B group. And I just know that from my past with going to track days. If you put me on with the GSXR 750 is what I'm basing this off of. My GSXR 1000 is so much easier to ride that I will go on record and say that it would add about 5% to either one of those numbers. So instead of being, bottom third, I'd be middle pack at best, and I would absolutely be top of the food chain in B group with that bike. Riding with guys that know the track and that have got decent equipment too. That's how good they are. The new bikes, all of them are that good. I mean, and really, I should couch all of this by saying I need to start doing track days again. Because that GSXR 1000, I mean, I'll find myself riding that bike that it's not crazy. I'm just riding a motorcycle, just having fun, just giggling all the way through it, not realizing that, I'm carrying some speed. I'm saying I run 11s in my scat. It sounds mean, comfortable, and women love it. Good enough for me. Absolutely. Eric saying, good evening, everyone. What is up? Eric, up here having a good one, buddy. Eric saying the 2025 Charger is DOA. Yeah. It kind of, listen, at this stage of the game, it doesn't matter if you're into EVs or not. It does. They're a one-trick pony. But it's a big problem for a lot of folks. Some small percentage of people, and you have to remember, this is the small percentage of people that would buy that car. You have to have a house. You have to have the charger. You have to have the infrastructure at home to be able to charge this thing for it to make sense ever. And you have to know that you have a specific sandbox that you can play in with this car. Because at some point, you're going to get to a point where you have to come home. You've got to find a charger. I had somebody in the comments. This was pretty funny. Not to put anybody on blast, but this stupid fucker is trying to convince me that the EV is just like, I don't know what I'm talking about and all this other shit. Not realizing that back in 2008, I lived just north of Menlo Park in Silicon Valley, and knew guys that worked for Tesla, and where Menlo Park was, that's where the coupe was being, or the Roadster was being assembled. And I knew guys that worked there. And it's funny that my history, not necessarily with Tesla, but as being around these things, goes back damn near 20 years. And so first of all, there's that. I'm just going to let that simmer for a minute. But to be so disconnected from reality to understand that an EV, mind you, that is going to cost well over $60,000 for a base model. The Scat Pack variant at $75,000 is laughably expensive, even before you start adding options to the thing. But to say that, well, there's a charger within 20 minutes. Guys, have you been to an EV charging station? It can get a little sketchy at these places. If you're a criminal or of a criminal mind, if you pass an EV charging station, that is a sitting duck. Okay. These people aren't in and out. You're not just fueling up, done and gone. Yeah, it's a dangerous proposition to lock somebody down for 20 minutes at a gas station or a charging station. Do you not see this? Like these are people that have never encountered really bad people. These are people that have never had, thankfully, but the problem is that they don't know the kind of danger that they're in. They're living life in a complete bubble. I see this and I'm thinking, single mom, somebody's wife or sister or mom coming home. Oh, darn, I got to charge up the contraption. Pulls in, plugs it in, sitting there playing on the phone or whatever. Next thing you know, somebody shows up with Blinky and wants freaking purses and wallets. This is the kind of world, unfortunately, that we live in. And these types of vehicles aren't owned by people that don't have means. Now, there's not going to be violence. They're just going to take your stuff and bounce. But the reality is that that's going to be traumatic in and of itself. So I guess the point that I'm making is that EVs, I see them from a completely different point of view. I understand their relevance. I understand that in some areas, they have absolutely got an advantage over internal combustion in terms of convenience. But that is only in the confines of the areas where it does carry convenience, meaning you've got a house, you can charge it at home. You don't have to stop anywhere and be there for an extended period of time, hoping that the thing hasn't been, the copper hasn't been stolen out of lines and everything else like that. It's just all kinds of bad things that can happen in light of having an EV. And so for me, I just look at these people and I go, Jesus flipping Christmas, you don't know the danger that you're in. How do you not know the danger that you're in? So anyway, it's, look, maybe it's just me being, and my experience too is vastly different than most people's, but I can tell you that, as is everybody's experience, by the way, but I can tell you that from many standpoints, I view these EVs as a horrific idea. And then and here's, okay. All of that aside, okay, so I've said it. It's done. Nobody's going to be buying the EV anyway, so I mean, it's almost like, why even talk about it? But it's the new charger, the 6-cylinder, the lack of, how do I say this? The lack of an understanding of your basic customer wants, needs, desires, what is going to fuel them. And at the end of the day, the big part, legacy. This is something that nobody is talking about when it comes to not having a V8. And I understand completely that the whole 6-cylinder thing, and oh my God, it could be the new 2JZ. You hear this all the time. Okay, it could be, but here's the thing. Mopar, Dodge, etc. is not known for making 6-cylinders. They've been part of like the Diamond Star motor cars back in the day, but those 6-cylinders, those weren't, that none of those are legends today. Okay. It could be the next 2JZ. It ain't. You want to know why it's not the next 2JZ? Because nobody else has made the next 2JZ. It doesn't matter how you look at it. It doesn't matter how you play it. You can talk about the Barra from Australia. That's the closest thing, I guess, in some ways you could find to that. But you're not going to find that Barra 6-cylinder. It's a 4-cylinder or a 4-liter 6-cylinder engine turbo. It's a beast of a thing. You're not going to find that in the United States. So that gets tossed. What about the Skyline? What about the RB25 or whatever that? No, because you don't see that in the States. There is no American Barra because there's no American sports car that is going to carry that engine. Or I should say American 2JZ. It's not going to happen. You need something smaller than a Durango-sized sedan to make that engine a legend. And you're not getting it. The CUDA was supposed to be what saved us all, right? Depending on which influencer you were watching at the time, the CUDA was coming. The CUDA is coming. Everybody's looking for a CUDA. Is there a CUDA? Is there a CUDA in here? Man, I can't even find it. There got to be a CUDA underneath here, underneath my phone. No, it didn't exist. People kept talking about it like it was a real thing. People were talking about the new Demon 170 being called CUDA. I know it's going to be called CUDA. It wasn't called the... This is the point that I'm getting at. We don't have a body small enough. Put the 6-cylinder in it, make it all-wheel drive, make it the American Skyline, and now we can talk about it. Make it the American Supra, and then we can talk about it having some kind of street cred. But until then, nobody's going to want much to do with it. Again, I have got to remind you guys that the new Charger is gargantuan in size. The thing's freaking huge. Gents, this car is a full 9 whole ass inches longer than the Challenger, which makes it about the same difference from the old school Charger versus the new. Guys, it's bigger than the freaking the Durango. Almost said Dakota. We need a Dakota. That'd be cool. But you get my drift, right? You understand what I'm saying here. Without a V8, we got problems, but a V8 in the Charger is already making a tank heavier. It needs the lighter engine and more power to get that amount of mass. Remember, guys, I did the math on this. The new Charger is 15% larger in that you need a box. If you were to put one into a box, the box would need to be 15% larger to carry the new car. That's how much bigger it is. Holy crap. Yeah, you're going to want some kind of power plant to move it, but my God, it's tough to say legendary performance it's not. You keep adding weight, and then, by the way, the V8s are easily 100 pounds heavier than their 6-cylinder counterparts. Again, it doesn't matter. Mopar guy does not care whether that platform has a 0 to 60 time 2/10 slower, 3/10, 4/10 slower. If it's got a V8, that's what they're going to buy. And again, I go back to legacy. I go back to the type of buyer we're talking about. I'm talking about price points here. I'm talking about serviceability, reliability. Remember, kids, I still have my 2017 Ram 1500 Buffy. It's got 200 and I think 20,000 miles on it. 220,000 whole ass miles. You realize that is about the same number of miles as it takes to get from where you're sitting right now to the moon, baby, to the moon. This thing has got 10 trips around the planet damn near. That's how many miles are on that Hemi. Is it reliable? I'd have to argue dadgum right it is. And again, so little wonder why Ram sales for 2024 quarter over quarter are down 25%. No V8. People question reliability. They don't necessarily want to be beta testers and all of this. Yeah, guys, that's what we're looking at right now. So the same people that would buy the Ram would be the same folks that buy the Charger. They're not going to want to have anything to do with it. I don't care how fast it is. You're going to stand next to one of these things and feel small. They're going to be massive. Look at one of these cars parked next to a Durango. Look at one of these cars parked next to anything on four wheels. Have a Challenger or a Charger sitting next to it, and this car will look like it could eat that car. Okay? So, damn it. You're going in the wrong direction. So, to try to wrap this, this part of the chat up, I've got to ask you guys the question, and I feel like the numbers have already played themselves out. Current V8 Ram owners are not trading their trucks in on Hurricane 6 trucks, not at anywhere near the rate that they thought that they would. Oh. And by the way, this statistic isn't out, but since, people like to quote information and not really have quality sources, I'll do the same, right? I don't know that this is the way that it is, but with Ram being down, with Ford being up, with Chevrolet being up, new buyers aren't buying Rams. They're buying Fords and they're buying Chevrolets, but Ram owners are not buying Rams. They're buying Fords and Chevrolets too, in that you're looking at a situation where you've lost your core buyer. To be down 25% quarter over quarter for your arguably second or even first most profitable brand in Ram is disturbing, to say the least. And that trend is going to carry over into the Charger. Listen, and I don't care what V8 they put in it. I'll even go so far as to say this. Because I know the platform is not designed for the V8, shock towers, firewalls, the subframe, all of that, you would have to have a complete retool to get one of the Hitty V8s to fit. If you're still going to make 5.7 liters for the Durango, or you're going to still make 5.7 liters for the 3/4 ton truck, okay, kind of see that. Put the 5.7 liter in the new Charger. You don't have to go with the 6.4 liter. There's no real reason for it, but just the reason why I say that, okay, don't freak out. The reason why I say that, the HO6 is that much more powerful. But the difference in cost really wouldn't be all that much, if any, between the two. But put the 5.7 in and have that be your base engine. Have it be the base engine. Have the 5.7 liter, 370 horse, even if you want. Don't even put the variable runner intake, although you should, the 400 horse. Put the 370 horse in that thing, call it the base model, sell it for 40 grand. Okay? Just figure out a way to do it and do that. That way it shuts everybody up about not having a V8. You get a V8 sound. There you have it. That would be my solution to this. Just figure it out, figure out a way to do that. For the truck, on the other hand, you got to have V8s and pickup trucks, guys. People will not buy trucks in many cases because they don't have a V8, and V8s do have their place. And so that's why for so many people, they're not buying it. Anyway, let me catch back up with you guys. Again, thank you, Hard Rock. I do appreciate it. Oh, Eric, yeah, tons of people are screaming about it. Well, I'll tell you what, here's the thing. You say there's tons of people screaming about it. I'll agree with that, but I'll do you one better. There are hordes of people that aren't. There are many, many, many more metric tons of people that have just been, oh, you don't have a V8? Okay. Let's go look at Fords, honey. I like the Ford. The Ford is nice. And I know this because that's what Smoking Hot said. So I tell you what, I said I would be a player on that truck with a 392. Here's the funny thing. I'd have to pry Whitey out of my wife's fingers. She absolutely loves that truck. And let's not forget, too, that the Coyotes don't give anything up either. A lot of folks say, well, yeah, the new Hurricane 6 is this, that, but it's a lot more, it's faster, it's more powerful. Okay. I just went damn near 12s in a full weight crew cab, 4x4, 331 geared pickup truck. I think it went, 13, 15 at 104 miles an hour? That's pretty damn fast. I get it that the high output Hurricane trucks are faster than that, but you got to spend $80,000 to get it. You got to spend 30% more than I spent on my truck to get that. If I took same money and put a blower on my truck, it would be a 700 horsepower grocery getter. Let that just wash over you. It'd be less than that. If I took half of that money and put it into that Ford, it would have 700 whole ass horsepower. And instead of being a damn near 12, it would be a damn near 11-second truck. And it would knock down great gas mileage. It would haul ass. Just saying. Eric saying even Toyota Tundra full-size pickup trucks are dropping in sales because, yeah, everybody is mad about, by the way, one of the best V8s ever that Toyota used to have. Hard Rock saying, thanks for running the show earlier, B. Absolutely. I'm going to try to do that too, by the way, guys. I'm trying to move the show a little bit earlier. I'm trying to move it to like around 7:30 instead of 8:30 or 9:30. Hard Rock saying, Eric, the older Tundras are actually better. They're way better. And yeah, you're right, Eric. They do want the V8s. Hard Rock again. Thank you very much. Ooh, I just lost what I was doing here. Brother, more ride along, please be. And your commentary as the cool actor. Thank you. So just so you guys know, that is Hard Rock's 20th super chat on the live stream. Thank you very much for that, brother. The next ride along video may be tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get a ride along on the T-Bird. After the first of the year, I'm gonna try to put together. In fact, I'm gonna try to put together my schedule for bikes to test. And there's the list. So GSX 8R, GSX-R, whichever one, 600 or 750, the C650, GSX-S, the new GT, GX, whatever that one is, V-Strom 800, I'm looking forward to that. The Shadows, looking forward to running one of the Shadows. I am going to try to get a Fury, by the way, the Honda Fury. Because I feel like Honda Fury is the best middle finger that I've ever seen a motorcycle company give. So I love it. And then the Rebels, I'm looking big time forward to a Rebel 1100 view ride along. And just so you guys know, for the motorcycle stuff, there's going to be a ride along, and then I'm going to have a sit down where I'm just kind of processing it for you guys, kind of like in this type of a format. So it will definitely be a good background noise generator. By the way, if it's your first time hanging out with us on the live chat, thanks for hanging out. I do a more car-oriented show on Saturdays, and then it's Two Wheel Tuesdays on, Tuesdays. And again, I'm trying to get the live shows more in that 7 o'clock-ish, 7:30 Central Standard Time. And so there you go. But this is the interactive show, and this is the one where you can get on here. We can talk about stuff, and this is also where I will let you know some like background stuff, maybe some blooper stuff that happened along the way filming, or talk about. Oh, the other thing that I use the live shows for are for standalone videos. Like, so let's say I had you may know it as a My Thoughts video on something, but I just could not get through the filming of one of those videos for whatever reason, kind of a weird flow thing, or, writer's block, or whatever the case is. We'll talk about it on the live show. And that way I don't have to, have a take that just absolutely flows from A to B. I can break it up, or if I get like zoomed out on a tangent somewhere, it's just part of how a live show works, right? Because it's live. So, but that's the show in a nutshell. It's the way that I have my live shows. This is nothing really much more than a background noise generator that is focusing on car, motorcycle, automotive, racing, in some cases type stuff. So, but yeah, thanks for stopping by if it's your first time. Hard Rock saying street bikes are the most bang for your buck in terms of performance. You don't need a mortgage to add one to your fleet. No, you don't. Sam with a broken arm. Anybody got any painkillers? Jack Daniels, baby. Jackie D. They're saying hard drive. So I'm saying, hey folks, oh, he's got the bald guy with the shades with the right cadence. I like it. Raymond saying, hello, B. Hello, Raymond. Thoughts is asking, what's your bike in the background? That is an Olmo Professionisti. That is an extremely sought after, I didn't even know this. That is an Italian all steel road racing bike from the mid 1980s. And it was a bike that my dad rode. My dad was a competitive cyclist. And so it's a bike that he rode. I was never really into it. Nothing like what my dad was. And he was like, hey, you like it? It's because he knows I like older vintage stuff. And he goes, man, I got this cool bike I can put together for you. I was like, yeah, sure. And so I rode it around a little bit when I lived in Austin. And since then, it's just kind of hung out with me everywhere. But what I'll do is I'll sometimes ride that here to the shop. So that is, if anybody knows what it is, just look up Olmo Professionisti. That's it. It's a killer bike. But I can do this without it falling over. Anyway, he had given it to me, and I wasn't big into bicycles, only to find out it's actually a pretty kick-ass bike. I'm like, sweet. Sovereign saying the EV push existed because of the previous legislation. It existed because of the ignorance of the previous administration. The want to be the virtue signaling of the previous administration. That's what was pushing it. All the while having no clue what you're talking about. This is the EV push. And again, there's nothing wrong with EVs. I actually really like them in their own bubble, in their space. They're amazing. But the reality is that they're not for everybody. But to try to shove that down people's throats, not a good look. That's not good at all. Hard Rock saying, amen, Sovereign. Can't listen to baseless gossip, for sure. Oh, I don't, yeah. Any of that, yeah, any of the EV stuff, I just kind of, I can't do it. What's funny? I can't even show up to the house with an EV. My smoking hot wife, not that I would, because I'm not into it, but she is one of the most anti-EV people you'll ever meet. Like I'll try to post up an argument. She's like, that could be the absolute truth. I don't care. And I get it. And she's right in the way that she's thinking. Sovereign, you might be right. If Tim Kaniskis can do something for Ram, that would be great. I just don't know. Ryan saying the new Rams have less towing capacity than these did, which is weird. So Ryan, the way that so I'll explain it to you how it works, and this might or might not make sense. Part of the rating system, and it's kind of funny that, without getting too deep in the weeds, there is a 0 to 60 time that you have to meet to get to a certain number of towing capacity. The problem is when you stomp on the gas with a turbo 6, there's so much lag that it may actually be slower under load under a towing situation. So that there's a lot of metrics that come into play here when it goes into towing capacity, but part of it is that. And the thing about it is, if I'm not mistaken, it's not done at sea level. And there's no standardized, like there's no mountain test either. So for obvious reasons, but in in elevation, the Hurricane may or may not do better because it's turbocharged. I would guess that it would. But at sea level and at elevations up to like maybe 3,000 feet above sea level, V8 is going to be tough to beat. Plus, you're not going to have the thing parked in boost all the time, which means that you're not going to be running the richer air fuels. Anyway, there's a lot of reasons why V8s are preferred. Naturally aspirated engines are preferred over six cylinders, especially little bitty six cylinders that rely solely on boost to provide true motivating force. Which, by the way, is one of the big bonuses of the Barra six cylinder. It's a 4-liter, not a 3-liter. If this new six cylinder was a 4-liter, that would be a completely different conversation. You'd have to look at that thing and go, look, boys, this is 4 liters. It's a big inline six. You're churning out 15 or 18 pounds of boost in an engine that big. That would be a ton of, it'd be a complete, like you go, look, I understand you like V8s, but dude, come on. And it wouldn't have near the lag. So in fact, you wouldn't even have to run that big of a boost number. You could go 4-liter, 15 pounds of boost, have 450 horsepower and like, I don't know, close to 600 pound-feet of torque. That's really what you'd be looking for a 6-cylinder for a pickup truck. And I know Kaniskis came out and said, well, it doesn't matter. It just does. I get it. I understand it. And look, I can understand that all in the world that I want. And that's great. The issue comes when the people that are going to buy the truck don't care enough. They can understand it as long as the day is, but they don't care. They want V8s. And you can argue all day long that, well, the 6-cylinder is this and it gets more power and it's lighter and it's no. They don't care. They want V8s. They want exactly what it is that they want. And it's been proven. Again, let me remind you guys, if you're coming into the show late, Ram quarter over quarter, year over year is down 25 whole ass % in sales. That is a monster number to be down. The new Hurricane 6, I thought was going to be the savior of Ram, or at least they were going to have all these new, very powerful engines that would get people to get out of their Fords and out of their Chevrolets and buy a Ram pickup truck. Turns out, went the other direction because Ford and Chevrolet are up in sales. In general, the market is considered to be flat. To be down 25% is bad, to say the least. Check in with you fellas here. I don't want to get too far into the weeds. We're coming up on almost an hour. So, and that's the other thing. The shows are going to be limited to about an hour. Ryan said, we need the Wraith. You know what? I'd be cool if they brought something like that to the table. That would be Dodge to do, right? Bring something that is just absolutely nasty. They're not doing it. By the way, the Wraith, when it came out, it wasn't a V8. That was a 4-cylinder turbo, if I remember correctly. That car, the concept car still exists. Hard Rock saying V8 or nothing for me. I understand completely. Let's see. Eric saying the twin turbo Hurricanes are still blowing up. Andrew's saying Ram will probably survive. Not sure about Dodge and Chrysler. Ram's going to have to do something quick because their sales are in the toilet right now. Or saying it's not an EV, Scat, or Banshee. Andrew's saying hello. Yeah, Eric, the Coyote engine is nasty. I mean, nasty, nasty. Hard Rock Fury would be cool. Man, I'm surprised they did not name the new car Fury. It would have gone along with the brand identity, if you think about it, because Fury was a it was technically a B body car. But that being said, no, it was later a C body, and you could get it in 2-door or 4-door, like the Fury 3. This new car is huge, man. It is a big ass car. Hard Rock saying, smash the like, folks. Sovereign saying, the Fury looks like a sick bike. Dude, I'm telling you, I like the Fury. People going, the Fury, that thing, it's a wannabe, it's a this, it's a that. No, it's not a wannabe. It's a real thing. It looks cool. It is, to me, the Fury is kind of an interesting bike because it is the only true custom factory style custom bike that's out there that you could reliably ride day in, day out, seemingly forever. And apparently they're pretty fast for what they are. So, if you're a true individual and you don't care, about a brand or whatever, and look, yeah, it's a Honda, but it looks like that, and it's got a big OV twin. I don't think it's going to suck. This kid's saying better late than never. Skid's hanging out in Mountain Grove. Nice. Chilling with the fam. How do I say it is a novelty? For a lot of folks, it is. Some of the roads out there, and yeah. Say hankering for a bike. Yeah. I bet it's pretty up there. Let's see, Skid's hanging out with Ryan. We're gonna be wrapping it up here pretty soon, so I just want to make sure I'm not skipping anybody. Ron with the Hemis is in saying hello. What's up, bro? Are saying no H6 will outsell Hemi. No, they aren't. They're proven to not sell well at all. Yeah, the Fury was a boat. The Furry is a boat. Oh, damn. Rome saying, I'm pretty sure I totaled my Scat Pack the other night. Any words for a shook young car Mopar enthusiast? Brother, they made a whole lot more of them. Once you get done working through all your paperwork, go find you another one and pick you up a new one, baby. That's why they kept making them. They keep making them. Make sure you get with Destroyer 1320. Use promo code Mason, I believe. Get your neutral strap cover, and then take it to your local Dodge dealership and have a couple of key fobs made and get your RFID bricked. Make that thing hard as hell to steal, and you will be in good shape. Get you another one, baby. You'll be all right. Don't sweat it. Yeah, Hard Rock's even saying, look, bro, it's easy to find Scats. I get it. Anytime, brother, anytime, baby. Just make shit say, just don't buy 23. There he is. Yeah, Sovereign's got the link. Just 20.com. Make sure you get your strap covers. And make sure you get your RFIDs bricked. Guys, you got to do that. And then you will be, your car will be very difficult. It'd be a real pain in the ass to steal it. And that's the main thing. If you want to steal something, anything is stealable. But just make sure that you make it more and more as difficult as you can for them to rip you off. Or get a manual. Yep. There is that option. Hard Rock is checking out, man. I appreciate all the support tonight. Thank you very much. I'll let you know in those t-shirts already. Let's see. And with that, guys, we are going to wrap it up. I'll say thank you very much to everybody out there for hanging out with me. And thank you very much, Hard Rock, for the super chats. I do appreciate that a ton. Guys, listen, get out there and do something cool for somebody. Chances are they need it way more than you know, especially during the holidays, man. People get down the dumps. They get a little bit blue, man. Reach out to folks. If you know they may be going through something rough, yeah, just be there for them, man. Let them know you're thinking about them. You don't even have to offer to talk about whatever's bugging them. Just let them know they're in your thoughts. A lot of times that can mean more than you may even ever know. And with that, guys, I've got to wrap it up. Thanks so much again. Appreciate you hanging out with me, and hope you're on the next one. Take care, guys.